meeting via video link.
None, Mr. Chair.
Do we have any apologies?
None received.
Any declarations of interest?
Nothing lodged with me to date.
No. Public participation?
There's no public participation registered either.
Okay. They didn't hear me, so I better start again. We've been through it, haven't we? Well, I'll welcome you, Milan, on record. That it's very important that we have you on record. So it's great to have you here with the new works engineer. Okay, so let's move on now. ISC 12.1 Works Program, Infrastructure Services, Water and Sewer. Graham Wilson. Graham's not here.
No,
Mr. Chair.
I was just going to say Graham's on leave. Milaski can answer any questions.
Yeah, that's right. Look,
Yeah.
it's quite lengthy, so you'll be able to answer some of the questions if there are any. So we'll move over onto that. The Scone Water Treatment Plant has agreement. I have a question. Has agreement been reached with the Muswellbrook Shire Council?
I can probably answer that, Mr. Chair. There's been no agreement. The Mayor and I met with the Mayor of Muswellbrook and the Acting General Manager of Muswellbrook probably 2 weeks ago. They are at least very keen to explore options. There's obviously a number of options that we can look at, including a shared facility. I believe previously there had been sort of some reluctance to look at a shared facility, but certainly in the meeting we had a fortnight ago, both parties are very keen. We had various state government representatives represented as well, and they're very keen for us to continue looking at this option. We believe it's a lower cost capital and operational over its entire life will be the best option for the two councils to pursue. So we'll keep looking at that. There's some issues with a joint system around governance processes and who owns the assets and the payment of the other party towards the use of those, but nothing that is that can't be overcome.
Thank you very much for that. Any questions on that that matter? I'd like you to turn over the page 4, the Murrurundi Dam and the this Lytree filter plant. Is it, where are we up to with that? In other words, it seems that it's going to be costly to run, or should we be looking at using the Glenbourne Dam water? Can someone enlighten me, please?
Through Mr. Chair, at the moment we mostly use the Glenbourne water supply. It's more easy to maintain the water quality we want from that end. Just Lytree plant also is in function. Sometimes just coming small repairs, we just try to do those repairs and just try to keep in function. But if it is come to a major replacement of the membrane or something, then maybe that time we make the decision whether we abandon the treatment plant or like that. Operation wise, we mostly just coming from Glenbourne Dam at the moment.
Just a further question on that. The service contract for the membrane will end on the 22nd in December 2022. So that's really going to take place shortly. And we're going to renew that, or what's going to happen?
At the moment, we decided not to renew, because if something just happened, we can talk to them and make a request to do repairs as request, because otherwise we have to keep continuously pay ongoing maintenance cost for them if we keep running the maintenance agreement.
Okay, we're happy with the explanation. I moved down to the Merriwa Sewage Treatment Plant. Has the variation been done, or is it just still in progress?
All work is through Mr. Chair. All work is in progress, all for just 5 items just mentioned here. Just reuse recycle feasibility options. We completed the study and given to EPA. We are just waiting until if they have some comments after review. And item 2, desludging polishing ponds. We just in the market for tender to do the job. Just planning to close the tender by end of January. And item 3 and 4, it depends on what's the outcome from desludging, whether we need to do or not. And item 5, effluent discharge structure, we are working on that, just having communication with the neighboring property, just create an easement or buy a part of the land. Graham Wilson is working on that.
Right, yes, I do know that particular property has been sold, so would be a new owner, but anyway, if negotiations
It's
are
in
in
place.
progress.
Yeah.
Mr. Chair, just I'm sure the committee's read item 2, but just draw your attention, we are actually saving $1 million by getting the approval to do land application of that sludge. That's $1 million that would have gone in Section 88 levies to the state government, so we're retaining that. And I think that's a great outcome by the staff.
It is certainly, there's a lot of, well, we call it sludge, that's being transported from Newcastle and back up onto various areas in Merriwar, which is very pleasing. Anyway, thank you. Any other further questions or comments? Just turn the page to page 6, please. The Scone, the village water supply. I guess it's probably the wrong time when to be negotiating with landowners, et cetera, or people who are going to use water when there's an abundance of water. However, how are we going with that? Are we going to install those standpipes?
As far as I know, yes.
Yes.
Yes,
Okay.
and I'm going to start work in January.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. Okay. And the Scone water treatment plant, how are we going with that? Is the proposal is yet to be accepted? So is there any update on that?
Through Mr. Chair, we didn't receive any updates yet. I just want to go back to our Restart New South Wales and just having discussion with them to get the confirmation.
All right. Do we have any further questions on ISC 12.1? Could I have a mover and a seconder, please?
Moved.
Seconded, Councillor Clout. All those in favour, please say aye. Those against, I think the ayes have it. Turn the page to page 9, ISC 12.2. Works Program, Infrastructure Services, Works Delivery. Sam Wooden, you have the floor.
Thank you, Chair. I will assume that the report has been read and happy to take on any questions.
Do we have any questions or comments? My page 11, roads resealed. How are you getting on with all the wet weather, Sam? Have you been able to get any reseals done, etc.?
Through the chair, yes, we've made a good start on the reseal program. However, it's come to a bit of a halt due to supply of materials. So they can't currently get the 10 mil or the 14 mil stone.
Yeah, right.
Yep. So the contractor that we're using, Boral, they can't even get supply from their own quarries.
Really?
So there's a bit of a delay there. However, we're a lot further advanced than we were in our last year's reseal program. So happy with the progress we've made to date.
And also, were we able to bring forward the section there from Halls Creek, just above 200 metres west of Murdering Hut Gully, to attend to that area?
through the chair, when you say brought forward,
In other
no,
words,
we haven't.
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
But we have got works program to do some interim repairs on
Yes.
that section.
The section west of Murdering Hut Gully is quite bad, which you would be quite aware of. And that's probably one of the worst pieces of that particular road. There has been repairs, and I might add, I think the staff have done a very good job with the pothole patching, because it is trafficable without causing too much damage. So that would be the section that you're talking about, isn't it?
Yeah, there's a 600 metre section from Murdering Hut back up the hill.
Yes.
Currently getting prices from the contractor to undertake those works. If the price is acceptable, the works will be done in January.
Okay, good, thank you. Any further questions on that particular section? If not, I'll invite you to have a look at the roads program, where we're at, et cetera, et cetera. Do we have any, I'm not sure, look, I'm sure we'd all say that we'd all like this road to be done and that road to be done, but however, that is not possible. But however, with the new works engineer, that might even assist us in that aspect. Also, I guess perhaps in this this stage, how are we going with our drainage crew and our drainage of side of these roads? Because all of the roads are suffering from the fact that the water still seems to run down the road, and if we don't, how are we going with that? Are we making any traction and getting that as tended to?
Mr. Chair, I think there's a item which is the notice of motion at the end of the report, which addresses that one. So maybe we can speak to that one when we get to it.
That's fine. It's fine. Okay. Yeah. Yep. Okay, that's all good. All right. Anyway, look, we've looked through the program, what's been completed, what's proposed, etc. Is any comments or questions on that area? If they're not being, I'll have a mover and a seconder, please. Seconded, moved, Councillor Clout, seconded, Councillor McPhee. All those in favour, please say aye. Those against, I think the ayes have it. Turn the page to page 23, ISC 12.3. Strategic Capital Works update. I just did note down here in the options, councillors may seek adjustments to works timing and priorities where identified. That's rather open, Sam. Really open. However, yes, okay.
Mr. Chair, just to clarify, that's by council resolution, not by individual application.
I thought I'd get a good response. That's good. Yes. We have, bring that up now anyway. We can use this year-to-date capital works expenditure. We've all got capacity to that, haven't we? It's the one I'm looking for. Okay. Well, let's just go through this quickly, which gives us a good idea of items. Line item 1 to line item 36. Do we have any concerns or questions regarding those items? If there being none, we'll move on to line item 37 to 72. I just might add, look, this is perhaps the aged care government place hostel. Look, on the Sunday night, we had the carols and the buggers. It's quite off, so please just accept it as a comment. And when I talk about hostel equipment upgrades, that bus that was purchase. Look, it was just great because the residents of Government Place, that bus was full and they wanted to come down and be part of the carols in the park. And as I've talked to Julie, it's been such a great asset to Government Place because there's not the restrictions of licenses and drivers to drive that. That's just been one of the great things that has been good for the age in that area. But please accept that as a comment. 37 to 72, no further comment or question. 73 to 107. I did see line item 76. There was some funding that for Campbell's Corner, I think from the government. Am I correct in that?
That's correct, Mr. Chair. We got a number of grant notifications in the last week, and we'll provide a bit of an update to councillors at the briefing on Monday night.
Yep, that's really good value. I also noted that there was I'd like you to include this as I think it's $192,000, wasn't it, to the Murrawar race facility? Was that right?
I couldn't comment on applications that we didn't make.
I see. That's all right.
I'm not saying they didn't, I just don't know, just don't have the details.
If you
Sorry.
do know, I think it'd be good to note that. Anyway, okay. Line item 108 to 143. Any questions or comments on that?
Mr. Chair, just a comment or question probably. Public cemeteries, is there any money in there for cemeteries that need new fencing that the public are prepared to erect if we were to purchase the materials?
Through the chair, depending on the amount, but I'm sure we could come to some agreement. Yep.
Okay, I'll get them to write a letter in. Moonam Brook, for instance, the cattle get in there on the headstones and all the time.
Yep.
So I'll get them to write a letter and a request. Thank you.
Line item 125. Venica Street Merrill lighting, that'll be a pedestrian crossing, that'll be across the Venica Street. How far down the track are we with that? Is it going to be able to come to fruition? Where's the $60,000 come from? Does that come from council or is it from a grant?
The $60,000, Mr. Chair, is through council funds
Right.
and reserves that we're holding back from previous years.
Okay. Have we got any idea of the final cost of doing that?
Through the chair, it's still it's currently getting designed. So once we have the design back, then we can go out to quotation for installation.
Well, that's really good. And that's very good news, actually. Yeah, thank you. Very good news. All right. Any further questions or comments on that page? Well, if not, we will turn over to page 144 to 179. There was a concern expressed 149, the Castells Hall and Playground upgrade. That was a marvellous facility. However, the hall, I think there were some concerns about some of the leaks that come through on the roof. Has that been addressed in the maintenance?
Through the chair, yes. The maintenance crew have been out and inspected, and as far as I understand, made the repairs required.
Right. Major repairs are required.
No. Made
They
repairs.
have made the
Yeah.
Okay, that's great.
Made
Thank you.
repairs.
All right. Move to line item 180 to 215. I guess the 195, the White Park complex has received some money, I think, from those grants too, which will be in the briefing, which is really good. Good news. Okay, turn over to page, the next page, line item 216 to 251. I was a little concerned regarding the Bobby at line item 223, Bobbyalla Creek Bridge. It seems that it's not fully funded. Is that my understanding? Is that correct?
Mr. Chair, if you recall the October council meeting, we put 5 bridges up.
Yep.
And we noted that the funding wasn't sufficient to meet the most cost-effective tenderers' submission, so we
Right.
still needed more money. About an hour ago, we received a letter to say that the state government has reviewed our request for a variation to the funding,
Mhm.
and they've granted a further $2 million. So we'll be able to now engage the contractors to complete those 5 bridges.
That's very good news. Very good news. I'm just wondering, this Morella Street, how where were we up to with that?
Mr. Chair, Jeff's working on a design. Mr. Bush, do you want to give a further update?
We're currently working on a design for the upgrade of the existing causeway.
Right.
So we're just going to overlay what's there at the moment, probably put a couple of low flow pipes either end just to dry it out, in the summer months to reduce the likelihood of, line build up and stuff like that. So take the slipperiness out of the causeway. But that's the only funds. We've got about 1.3 million and it's the funds available and not enough to construct some kind of low level bridge. So we're changing the scope to just a causeway upgrade, which is what the community wanted anyway, in a way.
Okay. As long as we've got funding to do that, that's the main
Yeah.
thing. Yeah. Okay. 252 to 287. I'd just like to comment on 254, the Ringwood Road upgrade. Sam, the widening of that, the pavement is very good. Well done. Yeah, we just need more of it, but you did that was really good. Thank you, Chair. Okay. Turn over to line items 288 to 323. Any comments or questions on those items? If not, 324 to 359. The line item 347, the cashless sewer scheme. Yeah, so that's what it's cost us, isn't it? 60,000.
Mr. Chair, if you read across that line item 347, the far right column, the one in from the far right is the year-to-date actuals 3,552. That's for this year's expenditure.
But what's the total expenditure? Because they've been,
Well, the total
been doing it for a fair while.
This only shows the current financial year.
Right.
The previous years, I think it was reported to council in the October council business paper what the full cost was of the scheme. I don't have that at hand, and I don't think anyone else will. We can take that on notice.
Oh, yeah, just
But it was previously reported to council when council resolved not to pursue the scheme.
remember that.
And just to close that comment out, we have referred that council resolution back to Restart New South Wales and advised them that we won't be pursuing it.
Okay. It's a tricky business, yes. Anyway, thank you. All right, turn the page then. 360 to 375. Any further questions or comments? If there being no further questions or comments, I'll ask for movement. A seconder, please. Moved.
Second.
Seconded, Councillor Collison. All those in favour, please say aye. Those against, I think the ayes have it. I'd like to turn over to page 32. IC 12.4 MR 358 Willow Tree Road upgrade. 32. Mr. Bush, Jeff, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Well, it's a good month. The key activities for December coming up. So there we've got to locate some suitable spoil areas for the excess material that we're going to cut out of the out of the side of the mountain up there, and we're looking at some TSRs. We've dumped material before, and some batter slope rehabilitation works along the existing road network. So we should be able to get rid of it pretty easily. That's a big cost saving to council. Council, through the general manager and the mayor, they're still lobbying the federal members of parliament, requesting the early release of the 38.6 million. I think we're pretty close to getting confirmation that could be the case. And that'll allow the works to start early. It's probably starting in 2023. We're going to call tenders or send out the tender documentation to the four preferred tenderers this month. Tenders will close on Thursday, the 23rd of February, 2023, and we'll assess the successful tender probably at the April council meeting. So it'll give us 2 months to go through and assess the four tenders, and hopefully award the contract in April, and hopefully start in June, July.
Right. Thank you. That is good news. It's a while coming, but it doesn't matter. It's still happening, and that's our main thing. And full marks to all those involved who have been lobbying and also pursuing this matter. The tenderers will be accepted by who?
Council will make the decision on the preferred tenderer.
Right. Okay.
So just in regard to the process, as you know, we've engaged Public Works to assist us with this. So we have representatives from state government, which will be on the tender assessment panel.
Yeah.
They will make a recommendation that will come back to council as you normally see those contract reports. You're very familiar with those. That final decision will rest with the council to appoint the contractor.
Okay. Thank you. Any further questions or comments? If not, I'll ask for a mover and a seconder, please. Seconded and a seconder. Councillor McPhee. All those in favour, please say aye. Those against, I think the ayes have it. ISC 12.5, Bill Rose Sports Complex Users Committee Group. 37, page 37. I just have one question. Where are we up to with this? I think it's been progressing. So could someone enlighten me, please?
So through the chair, progressing, you mean the master plan?
Yes.
Yep. So that's tracking quite well. I guess just to step back for a second, the meeting that took place, unfortunately, we weren't able to get a quorum, so we just had a record of proceedings. But the meeting overall was quite productive. So where we're at, we're not too far off some public consultation, which I don't have the exact dates, but it's not too far away, I don't believe. Yeah, so we'll go back out to the community.
Okay, thank you, Councillor.
Through you, Mr. Chair, I chaired that meeting. Unfortunately, we didn't have the quorum, but we did have the representatives from the consultation company we're using, and they had a very good presentation. They're just waiting. They were just waiting for some information from other user groups, but it's fairly much on track. Our next meeting we've actually got on the 20th of December, so the day after our last council meeting.
Okay, thank you. Well, that's good. It's progressing. That's our main thing. Any further comments or questions on ISC 12.5?
Through you, Mr. Chair, that they get it looks like it's going to be a really lovely space. The people we're working with, they've got the exact idea of what we want it to look like.
Good.
And I think it's going to be a really good kind of vision for us moving forward. So
That's very, very good news. Very good news indeed. And we'll all benefit from that. Okay, any further comment or questions? If not, could I have a mover and a seconder, please? Move Councillor McPhee, seconded Councillor Clout. All those in favour, please say aye. Those against, I think the ayes have it. Turn over to page 41. And yeah, councillor ISC 12.6. Okay, councillor McPhee, are you happy with that answer? I would just like to say really that probably the restrictions, and I think it's been dealt with here, probably seemed a little bit onerous. However, I also know the idea behind it is to get everybody to be water wise. In other words, just use what water we require. So I don't have any issues with a suitable restriction, if you call it restriction or concern. But I think it's, you know, getting people to think water wise. I think it's even great, including myself on the farm. Councillor McPhee, are you happy with the comment? I mean the reply, not my comment. All right then. Well, look, we'll have that noted. I guess we need to move in a second or two. I guess move seconded. All those in favour, please say aye. Those against, I think the ayes have it. Turn over then to our last page, 44, ISC 12.7. This has been something that has concerns many, and I thank Councillor Clout for bringing it forward in this way. Yeah, are you happy with the explanation?
Yes and no.
Yes and no. What's the no? Go on.
Yeah, well, I understand obviously when it's still flooding, we can't be cleaning out drains, given they're still going to be operational, but when it's not, like obviously now it's not flooding anywhere really. There's obviously water around in some areas still, but yeah, when we're doing the maintenance, are we making sure we are putting enough drains in? I mean, like, because the roads I'm seeing, we're still not really getting a whole heap of drains in. So the next time we do get rain, the gravel's just going to go again. So, yeah.
Through the chair. Look, I don't disagree with what you're saying. However, whilst it's not raining, a lot of our table drains and that are still saturated. So we've got potentially a 20-ton grader going off road. We're still getting bogged on a regular basis. However, in saying that, we've engaged a few more contractors with excavators to help out with the drainage works. So to make sure that they're cutting the batters in and making sure that the drainage works are opened up. For a period of time, there'll be an excavator with every grader. But we'll have to monitor that. And as long as we've got funding, we'll continue to do that. But yeah, like I say, we'll have to monitor that. Yeah.
Mr. Mayor.
Yeah, through you, Mr. Chair. I see the comments here about the Stewsbrook residents sent a letter in. Certainly Graham, best job I've seen since I've been on council up Stewsbrook, and common sense, excavator going along in front of the grader. I believe you won't be back up that road for quite a considerable time. So I'll certainly would back all councillors and the staff to look at that if funds become available, or funds are available. We've still got money, I believe, in the budget for drainage, Mr. GM.
Yeah, so if I can just comment on that. It's a discussion I had with the director last week, but I haven't sort of had a chance to talk to Sam. But I think what we'll see is long term, this will provide much better value for money. As the mayor's pointed out, we won't be revisiting roads as frequently if we can get this done right. However, in the short term, it adds a cost to the program. So what we will see likely is a reduction in the actual length of road graded, because now we're doing grading and drainage with additional plant items, whereas before we're trying to do it with the existing plant items. So we're adding cost to what we're doing. It'll reduce the volume of work that we can do, but long term, it will probably give us a better result. But it means that we may face some criticism from the community because we're slower getting there because we're working on these other roads. So we just need to keep that in mind. Whilst we're doing a better job on these roads, other roads will be suffering.
Okay, so just Mr. Chair, to add on that, certainly agree. But I'll certainly be talking to Councillor Cloud after Christmas, and I'm certainly going to go over, and anyone wants to come for a drive around some of these roads and have a look and compare. And yeah, we'll be putting a bit of pressure on to get that drainage right.
Yes, thank you. Look, we're all in agreement with this matter. I can take you to many of the roads, and there's been certainly some additional material put on the Forest Preserve Road, but they neglected. It's going to run straight across, Sam, and that is a difficult part. It's in between the 1 to the second and the third culvert crossing, and the corners just need to be dug. It can be dug out with a grader because it's not saturated in that particular area, if those are things that you wouldn't have to get back to that road if that was the drains. That drainage was the table drain was cleaned out. I did notice that they and commend the drivers for putting in these short little drains that are endeavouring to get the water off the road, but they've got it's across the road before it gets to them. But that's it's a good start. But that is a lot of the thing is the table drains are not cleaned out when I believe that they can be. But I take the fact that it's been very wet. And in some cases, it can't be cleaned out. I accept that.
Yeah, it's a struggle trying to get on top of that and please the residents. We've got a number of roads that have just got springs that have opened up in the centre of them. Sorry,
Collingwood Road.
Yeah, we've got probably 3 or 4 in the Marywar area, and then Stewart's Brook. And what we find is we go to and fix the initial problem, and then it'll pop up 5 metres down the road. So it's an ongoing battle, but yeah, we're doing the best we can with the plant and equipment that we've got and the materials available.
Sam, I did mention that culvert on the 4th culvert. Probably an engineer needs to look at that because it's quite it prevents, you can't drive without going off the corner of the concrete on with a 4-wheel drive. You're right on the edge because to try and dodge that centre part, I spoke to you about earlier. It's been noted, and I think it's in on the CRM. So anyway, I thought you could perhaps attend to that if you can. Thank you. Anyway, do we have any further comments or questions on our road grading and how we can, which has been a concern to all of us? We're aware of it. Yeah. Yeah, we do. Yeah. Move Councillor Clout, seconded the Councillor Collison. All those in favour, please say aye. As against, carried unanimously. That being our agenda for our infrastructure services, I'll declare the meeting closed. Thank you.